into the grand arena where legends come to fight. Bodies clash and dreams ignite under the neon lights. Oh yeah. On Water Dave, he's the voice, calling every move. Amy and Justin Davis getting you in the groove. Oh yeah. Feel the energy, the thunder, as the crowd begins to roar. High-flying daredevils in a battle like never before. Oh yeah. From the turnbuckle to the mat, the action never stops. Talking wrestling takes you to the top. Oh yeah. Talking wrestling, it's a wild ride. From suplexes to body slams, we got it all inside. Get ready for the excitement, the drama show. Talking wrestling, is ready to throw down. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Talking Wrestling with Pondwater Dave. My name is Justin Davis, and Amy will be here with us in just a few minutes, I think. She's running a little bit late this evening, but of course I'm joined by the namesake of this show, the great Pondwater Dave. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, hello everybody. Hi Justin, glad to be here. Excited about our show tonight. Getting to talk a little territory wrestling. It's going to be a good time. Exclusively this week on YouTube for the first time.
That's right. Only one place to find us, and it's on the tube of the U.
That's right. That's how we roll.
What's been going on this week? Anything fun?
Got back to work. Had a really sick last week. At the end of the week, spent the weekend recovering, but I hit the ground running Monday morning, and I feel like I'm just about back to normal. Doctor thinks I need 30 more days. We're going to do some physical therapy, get my knee back to get the strength back in that leg. And
now, are you out there all by your lonesome, or
no,
do you still have your guy or someone there?
I got a guy with me. I'm going to have some help. So, but we sold some chips yesterday, and the Monday before I went on vacation, I worked today and regretted it. I mean, I was icing. I was looking at that pain pill like it was the Divas division in 2004. But I didn't take any of them. I didn't want to take any more of them because I don't like how they make me feel. But what I'm saying is it hurt last week, and this week I'm feeling my old self again.
On the road to recovery, as they say.
I can't put any weight on it. Like I can't get down on my knees.
Yeah.
So I'm bending it. I'm not walking with as much of a limp. I mean, it's, I look 58 again.
You got a fighting chance running away from the geese at this point. You might be able to make it.
Yeah. I think it's too hot for the geese. I've only seen them like one time in the last 2 months.
Oh yeah, they flew back to Canada. They're over
I don't know where they're going.
Drew Review said he got to see my Reds while on vacation a few weeks back. Drew, I got to see him Friday. My dad and brother and I went down to St. Petersburg, Florida, and seen our beloved Reds win a 10-inning extra inning game down at the Trop, which is, man, what a S-hole that place is for baseball, man. But
it's never even looked appealing on television, ever. Not one time.
It's not appealing at all. The only cool thing was I got to pet a devil ray while I was in there.
Okay.
But
I've always thought that stadium looked like a warehouse that went out of business, and they put a
it's pretty
baseball
much what
field
it
in
is.
it.
Yeah, well, it was built in 1990 for hockey, and you can tell.
Well, that's what they call hockey's. They call them barns for a reason. Catherine Summers is with us, and she's having foot problems too. Hope you get to feeling better, Catherine. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, Drew Review says he was at the game where Hunter Green, the Reds pitcher, was throwing up behind the mound. Yeah, I remember that. He just started puking behind the mound in the middle of the game.
That's crazy. That's
You never
absolutely.
know. It gets hot out there.
Have you watched any of the Olympics?
I have not. I sat down. I said, "Okay, here I'm going to do it." I turned it. Turned it on the Peacock, and there it is: France and USA playing soccer against each other, and we are already down 3-0. And I lasted about 20 seconds, and I said, "Oh, I'm out. See you later, Peacock. Over to watch something else."
We watched the gymnastics last night. The men's getting. I think they got the bronze medal, but they're back in the medals. We watched the girls. Watched little men's basketball. I'm trying to be a good American and support Team USA, but when they put the camera on LeBron James, I just can't get over it, man. I just don't like him. Never have. And it doesn't have anything to do with anything other than I don't like LeBron James from way back.
I don't either. And he's even a fellow Ohio boy. And I think he graduated high school maybe the year before me. No, I think he graduated same year as me. I don't know. But I saw him play in high school, but I still don't like him.
I'm a fan of the rest of them, and they had a good game. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then but the best part of the Olympics has been Snoop Dogg. And if you haven't seen Snoop Dogg calling things, go out of your way to go look for it. He does a segment where he's talking about badminton. Like they're showing a badminton clip.
Yeah.
He's calling it. Oh, there it is. There it goes. It's beat.
Yeah.
And then they just he's living life over there.
I forget what game it was that I was watching in one of the Reds games, and he was at the game, I think, and they interviewed him and they were just going to interview him for a half an inning or whatever, and they kept him for 2 innings because he was so good just sitting there calling the game with them.
Yeah, I turned on the TV the other day and he's on the Voice. It's Snoop Dogg, Reba McEntire, Michael Bublé, and Gwen Stefani.
I might have to watch now that I know Snoop's
and they were singing. I can't remember the song now, but they were singing a song. You got Reba and Snoop singing a song together. All 4 of them were singing, but
yeah,
it was Snoop, Reba, Gwen, and Bublé, and it just Snoop Dogg is the coolest MFer in the world.
Yes,
they're just
to
watch him, and they got Colin Jost over there calling
Colin
surfing in Tahiti,
yeah.
And then they have Kevin Hart and Keenan doing recapping stuff, and NBC's killing it with mixing in comedians and they're trying to tie in Saturday Night Live's 50th season that's fixing to start.
Oh, really? Well, see, when I was watching the opening ceremony or whatever, when I was in St. Pete, I saw who was it? Peyton Manning and I can't remember who was with him, but it seemed like a odd couple to be doing that, but whatever.
Yeah, when I think Summer Olympics, I don't normally think Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
But Peyton Manning is super entertaining, everything he does too.
You imagine if they made football an Olympic sport, there would be no competition. We would just kill everyone every year. Canadian football, come on, bro.
Hey, you want me to get controversial right up top here? So I'm watching, and apparently the Olympics, I don't know. They got the women's boxing.
They got the women's boxing.
They got the women's boxing, and one of the boxers let's just say he identifies as a woman.
Okay.
So he's out there beating. He's up there. I don't know why I'm tap dancing.
So they got a transgender.
They got a transgender boxer.
A female transgender.
My issue is I don't have anything against trans people. You live your life any way you want to. That's you. You do you.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge anybody. I'm not gonna. I mean,
What country was this? Do you remember?
man, I didn't dig into it. I just seen him clocking that chick in the face, and I don't want to
Well,
watch
if you would have dug into it, you would have found some surprise, I
it. I'm just saying that I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that women's sports is for women's sports.
Yeah, well,
If you was born with that other chromosome, if you just because you was piss poor men's boxer, don't mean you get to go be king of the women. And send your hate tweets at Ref Super Dave PWD. You're not going to change me.
I wonder if he lost or won. I'm gonna have to put some Google search into this.
So, yeah.
Anything fun wrestling related going on this week?
I think I got a little thing called SummerSlam going on this week.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Slam of the Summer coming up this weekend on Saturday, right?
Yeah. I can't believe it's already here.
I know.
The last of the one night SummerSlams.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wholeheartedly agree with the Drew reviews here. Peyton and Snoop would make a great broadcast.
Yeah, they would.
Without question.
That's who should call the Super Bowl. Can you imagine Snoop calling the Super Bowl? That'd be awesome.
He could. Darren Staley shouts out Gunther.
Well, Darren Staley has Tourette's. He just shouts things out like that sometimes.
I know, but I do. So do we believe that Gunther's going to be crowned champion?
No.
You don't think Gunther's going to take it from Damian Priest?
Well, that's right. I forgot that's who he's fighting. Yes. Yeah. Gunther's winning.
So I just heard Justin in a loud and clear voice say, "There ain't no way he's beating."
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, he ain't beat. Not this. If they were booked together, I don't think that he would win right now. Maybe eventually. But yeah, I forgot it's Priest. Yeah. Now I do think that Gunther's winning there.
Yeah. If Priest retains, I think that makes a loud statement about what they have planned for Priest.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I just don't think this whole Priest championship has went quite as the way they thought it would. And, he got the rub of having the belt. Now it's time to give it to Gunther, who we all know is ready for it.
I think with what's going on with the Judgment Day, I don't think he needs the title.
No. There's enough storyline there that, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to break them up or anything. If you're going to they've been teasing a little tension between him and Finn.
Yeah.
But I think it all changes because, the show after SummerSlam, Gunther will take it. That's an interesting. He's probably, in the old days, you could count on it getting it on Monday night. Yeah, but they're going to be on Sci-Fi.
I'm glad Coach Keith woke up with that opinion. Keith. Oh.
Raw's going to Sci-Fi for 2 weeks.
Oh, God. Because of the Olympics?
Yeah.
Is that where they were last night? Or were they on USA last night? Because I didn't see them when I looked over there. I thought it'd
been Sci-Fi last night.
That
would have had to have been Sci-Fi last night.
Because I went to USA and I'm like, where the hell's Raw? And then I was too lazy to really search for it and look for it. I figured they moved it somewhere else, but I wasn't sure where.
Okay. We got Liv versus Rhea. That's coming to a head.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
It's gonna be fire, but Dom's gonna turn. Dom's turning on Mommy.
Yeah.
That Liv walking off crying and Dom putting her in her place and all that. Is
that what happens to Judgment Day? Is those two break up and then you end up pitting somehow? What's his name?
Finn
will cost Priest the championship this weekend, and then that'll start their feud, and the whole thing will implode.
But you don't need Finn. Gunther's so strong on his own, and I'm with Coach Keith. Seeing Priest escape with it, or maybe Priest gets Finn Finn tries to help and gets Priest disqualified. He keeps the belt, but is mad about it, and then gives the rematch to Gunther on Raw. That could happen. Here we are down that rabbit hole. You cannot predict WWE right
Can
now.
Snoop announce SummerSlam with Michael Cole? Can we make that happen?
A WWE Hall of Famer.
That's right. Bring him in. Snoop and Michael Cole for SummerSlam. Maybe let Pat just come in at the end.
I think Snoop sat down and did commentary one time.
He probably did. That'd be awesome.
There's no telling.
Snoop did a whole pay-per-view. We're going to book Snoop as a full-time commentator on all sports by the end of the show.
You know what would be cool? If we could get Snoop to come on our show.
Yeah, that would be cool. For shizzle.
I mean, I don't know what we talk about.
No, I don't either.
I mean, I used to listen to his old stuff.
Yeah, I did too.
My favorite episode of Martha Stewart, Snoop was on.
Yeah.
And I was said Snoop's on Martha Stewart, and then they baked brownies. And I was rolling in the floor.
Some of his new stuff is good too. Drop it like it's hot as fire.
I don't think that's new anymore, Justin.
Well, for him, newer. It's not his 90s stuff.
Yeah. Drop it like it's hot is his new stuff.
Oh. Well, we were supposed to have a guest and we were supposed to have Amy. So instead, it's just me and Dave.
Right now, we're waiting for our guests and our hosts.
We don't know what to do if it's just us. I'm trying to think about.
I'm fixing to have to start doing some research. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. Let's talk about. Have you watched any AEW this week?
No.
I watched Collision. I watched Collision and Battle of the Belts, which should be called Battle of the Belt.
I'd rather watch that USA France soccer match than the AEW.
I know that my commentary here is going to sound like that I'm taking a huge crap on AEW. This was a pretty good show. It was a pretty good show. They got this new character, Hologram.
Holla.
I'm sure he's a repackaged luchador. He's very good. He's entertaining for the flippy stuff. But I think this is something that they've come up with. He's been on 2 weeks. 2 weeks now. He's getting good reaction from the crowd. He's entertaining. He wrestled this other guy, Monster. Anyway, he did a sit down power bomb from off the top rope.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit, and Hologram's on his back, and he kind of stands up and folds his legs and kind of sits on his legs and flexes. And the referee's just standing there. So Manster looks at him, and the referee's, and so then he just leans down on the legs. And the referee's still standing there. And so the referee made him get on top of him before he would count the pin.
Mm.
And I'm like, what in the? Because this isn't to bury the referee situation. A lot of times referee problems in AEW are because of the booking. And Tony Schiavone said on his podcast that he truly believes that AEW is more like ECW than it is like WCW or WWE. And I'm with that. So announce it as an extreme rules federation. Make it all extreme wrestling. Then y'all keep doing this silly. Whatever y'all want to do. Because then you're not burying the referees because there's no rules in ECW. See what I'm saying? Hello, Amy.
Hi. So sorry.
She is. Look at her all dressed up.
Too hard on.
I know.
She partied too hard on on her birthday.
Yeah, that's
And-
exactly what it was.
She's got her hair done like she likes
She
it.
likes it. Look at you, kid.
I'm telling you, I came in on 2 wheels. Work. It's just, we're getting all back into the school and the swing of things. So, how's it going?
Pretty good. Right now, I want to introduce our guest at this time.
Everybody's coming at the same time.
There we go.
Hey, how's it going, guys and
Hi,
ladies?
Matt. Ladies
Hi,
and
how's it going?
gentlemen, we got Matt Classic from the Allied Independent Wrestling Federations, and I say it that way
Awesome.
because this man runs a territory, and not a small
Awesome.
territory, and he's been running territory since 1992. So we got a lot of history here, and we can't wait to hear all about it. Matt, how you been, man?
Pretty good. Hope y'all guys are as well. Yeah, the AIWF has been around since 1992. We've been in our current format since 2008, and currently we have 150 promotions in 47 countries across the world.
Wow. And I was looking through your page. I was looking through
Whoa.
and just been looking. You can't throw a rock in independent wrestling and not hit a wrestler that hasn't worked for one of your promotions.
Well, that's probably
One of
pretty
your
true at this point. We've done really well. We've developed a lot of great relationships. A lot of promotions have been with us for over a decade now at this point. We got great stuff going on in Europe. We got stuff going on in Australia. We got great stuff going on here in America. I mean, we got our Latin American Championships defended on TV every Sunday at IWRG in Mexico. And we're working on Canada next with President Andrew Blanchard up there.
Nice.
Cool. That's awesome.
Let's talk about your some of your champions real quick.
Yeah, Gold Boy Greg Anthony. Greg's been around forever. I mean, he's held that belt over 400 days now. He's defended it in about, I would say, a fourth of the country right now.
Yeah, I've worked with Greg before, several times actually, and I've got to work with him back when he was the NWA National Champion.
Yeah, funny part about that, he just took on Mustang Mike, who they actually feuded over the national title back then. But they just were down in Morgan City, Louisiana, for Gulf State Wrestling. They had over, I think about almost 1,000 people showed up to Morgan City, and the evil Vladimir Koloff got involved, and Gil, who was Mustang Mike's tag partner, turned on him and hit him with a chair, and he hit Greg Anthony with a chair. So it was very interesting in Morgan City, Louisiana.
So
a few weeks ago.
Is Gulf State the only promotion that you have in Louisiana?
Gulf State. We also work with Pro Wrestling 225 in Louisiana.
Okay.
So Gulf State also works with them, and I think that's about it right now for the state of Louisiana.
Okay. Next up, I have your cruiserweight champion, who's a very good friend of mine. I've been working with him since he started, Mr. Barrett Brown, and who defended this title overseas as true traveling world champion.
Yeah, Barrett just defended the belt in London for BEW, out in London, England. He did a great job. I know he's defended the belt in Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi. He won it up in Tennessee, up in Dyersburg. But Barrett's a great cruiserweight talent. He's a great overall talent.
Oh yeah, I've been so impressed with him for years, and I actually got to referee that match that he defended that title.
Okay, so, he did a good job, and he just defended against actually in that same Louisiana show 2 weeks ago. He defended it. King Kizzy, he's a Nigerian. He's been based in America a little bit, but he went back to Nigeria for about a month to defend that belt. He's got a big defense coming up in Houston, I think, in about 2 weeks. I think it's August 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
Awesome.
I saw that he was also in the Dallas area, just defended against Eddie Martinez.
Yeah, he just took on Eddie actually yesterday, 2 days ago now.
And I think he's got Lou Gotti coming up.
Yeah, Lou Gotti's who he's got. I believe it's August 8th in Halcombe City.
Yeah.
It's outside of Dallas.
And
but Knuckles, Eric Dillinger, he just won the Brass Knuckles title. They just won it out in the Wrestle Arts out in Indianapolis. He's about to go on a big tour of England, actually. I know him and Josh Crane are touring primarily England. They're actually working for another one of our affiliates, Bleeding Gums Wrestling, which is in Scotland.
Bleeding Gums Wrestling in Scotland. I love it.
How do you keep up with all of that, Matt?
I've did this a very long time. I've did this for the past 17 years for the AIWF. So yeah, I'm pretty good at keeping up with stuff, I guess.
What got you?
That's
What got you
awesome.
into doing all of this?
Well, it's funny. I've been in wrestling 20 years now. Got trained by the great Chief Jay Eagle down in South Carolina. His claim to fame is he trained his neighbor, who happens to be George Gray, the one-man gang, Akeem the African Dream. And I got into it. I enjoyed it for a while. Then I got out of it for a little while. And then I was doing it locally. And that's how I got hooked up with the AIWF, the promotion I worked for, joined. And thankfully, I've worked my way up, and I'm now the executive director for about the past 15 years. So
I'm a huge fan of the territory systems, territory days. Because I'm old. I remember when when the NWA was in its heyday and promoting all over the world, and I thought it was cool that that with the traveling champions. So the more I've learned about your promotion and your federation, I don't know why I keep calling promotion federation, is I like that. I like how you engage everybody. I like how if y'all have an opening on a card that you put it out there.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what you got to do. And a lot of these promotions, they're networking together. They're bringing guys in. They're bringing the belts in. I mean, we have over almost 22,000 followers on our Facebook right now. So I mean, that's pretty good following, I would say. And
what's the secret to get a bunch of promotions to work together?
Somebody's got to be the chief. That's me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say this, and I'm not throwing stones and casting dispersions, but an incarnation of the NWA, it got to be where there was a lot of grumbling that you couldn't get the champion. I mean, they seemed like everybody was pulling so much that I don't know if it wasn't managed correctly, that you weren't distributing your champions out, or it was just greed. But I know seeing it on the level that I saw it on, it just seemed like it was there wasn't a lot of cooperation. I had one or two that would work together, but it always seemed like it was always adversarial.
I mean, you have to let the promoters talk to each other. And then another thing that I do, I put somebody in charge of specific regions, and they have to be the boss. They have to be the alpha. And I mean, being a man, you have to be an alpha sometimes. And that's how we've got it to work. And but thankfully we've developed a very good team, and I enjoy 99% of the people I work with. So I mean, I guess I'm doing better than most. But and you just have to have opportunities present, and you have to talk. You have to talk man to man to them. You have to say, hey, like, this is how we need to do this. Who can do this? And I have to give them opportunities to work with the team. If I don't give them opportunities, it's not going to happen.
Do you all get together like they used to do in the NWA? Like everybody come together? Oh, really?
We do. We have our anniversary show. It's every March now here in North Carolina, actually in Mount Airy where we were founded. If you watch the Andy Griffin show, that's the real Mayberry. That's where Andy Griffin grew up.
I've been there, I Airbnb'd in a house, and it was like the house was like a Mayberry house. It was all made up like.
Yeah, I mean it's a lovely town. I mean it's about an hour from where I live. Here I'm in Greensboro. I'm in the mecca of Crockett country. But so we have our annual meeting there. And we have a nice building that we've had for several years now, and so we can have a nice meeting and talk. And multiple promotions usually come in. I mean, I wouldn't say all 150 promotions come, but I would say usually about a quarter to a third of our membership shows up every year. And we do it over 2 days now because it's become so big. So,
and people can fans, they can come to
the shows. Yes, we'll have a show. Yes. That Saturday night, and then we'll have a show usually Sunday afternoon, Sunday night.
That's really cool.
And tickets lately have been $10 for the floor, $5 for bleachers. We're in a pretty good sized livestock arena, so we have a lot of wood bleachers. It's only $5 to get in because we want to keep it affordable. I mean, we have to keep it affordable for all our fans and all that. So,
Well, you have to be doing something right because professional wrestling's a sport that fans have very strong opinions, and with negativity being heavy. I don't see negativity about your federation. I don't.
I mean, there is some negativity, but usually anything internal is handled internally.
Uh-huh.
But from the outside, I know some people have problems with Greg Anthony, but Greg's a great talent. I mean, he's done it. Like, he's defended that belt in St. Louis. He's been in Arkansas. He's been in Memphis. He's been here in North Carolina. I mean, he's done a great job. But guys, they always want to be the champion. Just like Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and that's how wrestling goes. That's how life goes. I hate to say
it. There's a lot of guys out there that I could sit here and fantasy book Greg Anthony all day long. The dude knows the dude can go when he's in that ring.
Oh yeah, he's done great. Like I said, he had that big bout with Mustang Mike. They got a big bout coming up in Hazel Green, Alabama, which is right outside of Huntsville. Him and Barry Koloff are going to go at it down there. That should be a barn burner. Rocket City's every first and third Saturday in Hazel Green, Alabama. They've been with us quite a while themselves.
Yeah, we've been to Rocket City one time.
Rocket City last July.
Oh yeah, good people. I mean, good part of the team. I mean, I've seen them do 500-600 people on this bigger event. So I'm like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good if you can do that.
They pack them in there, and it's a great venue. It's a great venue to watch professional
wrestling. It's at the gym. If the fans watching don't know, it's attached to a gym.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as someone that went to the Sportatorium regularly in the 80s, it has that Sportatorium feeling because if it's hot outside, it's hot inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I mean, that's how wrestling's supposed to be watched. Those old barns make the best venues.
Yeah, and that's what I said. We have a livestock arena is what we have, and we're running up in Mount Airy. A lot of guys are going to the breweries nowadays, which breweries are a great thing. It's great on an off night for the bars themselves. And sometimes you can get a little money, and sometimes it's just you're making a good barter deal. And wrestling is bartering. I mean, I know some people making some really great money in wrestling, but most people they're just getting by. And I mean, they're trying to get to that next level. They're trying to get signed. But Ricky Morton one time, Hall of Famer Ricky Morton, he told me one time, he said, "Hey, be nice to the people on your way up because you're gonna see the same people on the way down." And that's rung true with me for like over 20 years. So,
well, I like how you handled your business. I like that you put it out there. I mean, you keep everybody engaged. You talk to the wrestlers, the workers. You want to know what their goals, and but it seems like you're always opening a discussion.
And you have to be accessible. You have to be open, and I have to be honest. Sometimes it's not good to be honest with them because they don't like what you're saying, but that's part of fact of life. You just got to be honest and what's going on, and hey, this is where the money is, and hey, this gig is open. It's probably not going to pay you enough to travel from such and such spot, but it's a good opportunity if you get in. Because sometimes I have to tell them that, and sometimes they don't like to hear that, and sometimes the promoters they don't like to hear what the champions want. I'm like, all right, I mean, we can come to a middle ground. Like if they're at $200 and you're at $400, we can meet at $300. And I mean, that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to get all sides to agree. It's not easy, trust me, but you got to make it happen.
Do you have women champions or tag team?
We do. We have our women's champion is Claire Carter. She's based out of North Carolina. She was trained by Tom Pritchard and Kane, Glenn Jacobs at JPWA.
Dr. Tom is my friend. No.
Yeah, I mean, Tom's a great guy. I met him.
Oh, yes, he is.
He knows what he's doing. But yeah, Clara, that's where she's out of. Heidi Katrina had the belt before her, but she had a injury. But she held the belt for like 3 years. She defended in the UK, Japan, America, and a couple other countries in Europe.
What an experience for them to be able to travel and be able to defend their title literally all over the world. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them they're defending around the world. They're at least defending in multiple states, multiple countries, if they're not traveling the world.
And you do have tag team
Tag team champions, custom made out of Indiana. They're out of Supreme Wrestling in Indiana. I know they defended in Indiana. They defended here in North Carolina. They defended in Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky. They defended all over.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, they're. I also noticed in the early days you had some huge, with guys that would be considered legends now come through there. If I'm not mistaken, you had Steve Corino, didn't you?
We did not have Steve Corino. No, we had we've had guys like Buddy Landell, Ricky Morton's had a world title. We've had a ton of big guys, and some also their names you would know, like the Beer City Bruiser held the world title. Roddy Max held our world title. It's been quite a few of people.
Oh, apologize. I tried to do that off the top of my head, and when as soon as you said Buddy Landell, it hit me.
Yeah, Buddy. God rest his soul. I mean, Buddy was a very entertaining guy.
Oh, he was smooth in the ring. I thought it was bold, very bold, to go on a TV show as the Nature Boy when the Nature Boy is on that show. But
I mean, I've seen a lot worse Nature Boys out here on the independents. Trust me.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
What's ahead for AIFW? Like, what are your
AIWF.
goals or what? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm also dyslexic. Sorry.
I mean, I think our goals are just to continue at the pace we're going. I mean, we're growing at a very steady rate. We're growing our fan base. We're growing our champions. I mean, I want my champions to work every weekend if they can, even through the week if they can. And some are working more than others, but I mean, everybody's defending several times a month right now. So,
right.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sorry. How does and you all might have mentioned it, but how does a promotion, if they wanted to be part of this federation, like how does that process work with you all? Do you have to vote them in, or are you not?
No, we don't vote them in, but we do have a set of guidelines that I developed many moons ago. And usually they talk to me and, I hash it out and see if they're going to be a good fit for us. And then if you didn't know, I'm like the CIA of pro wrestling. I mean, I know everyone. So like, I pretty much do a background check. I'd be like, hey, what can you tell me about this person? I could reach out to 5-6 people and have answers by the end of the night. So
right. So it's almost like I hate to say code of conduct, but obviously you want promoters who are upstanding, pay their people that have shows.
Well, yeah, pay them. Consistency is a big thing. We want shows. Theoretically, we want at least once a month, once a week, if we can get it. Some of our promotions run about every other month, but we want that consistency, and we want you to have ran in your area a while if you can.
Sure.
I mean, I'm going to give new guys a shot, but they gotta show me that they're capable.
That's awesome.
I've seen too many promotions run one show and shut down. So
sure. Well, sure. They think that's easy. I'm sure that they probably think, oh, that's really easy. And then once they get in there and promote, they know it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally ran in eight different states over the past 15 years. So I don't like to run as much as I used to because I'm so busy with the office. I mean, we're a very busy entity, and I mean it's great and it's fun but it's not easy.
Oh no, I can only imagine.
Well,
I mean we're doing well.
I like that your wrestlers, they take pride, especially your champions. Like Barrett Brown, for instance. I know Barrett's been champion. He's been local champion in Texas. Pretty much everywhere he goes, he'll get a belt. But when he showed up on our shows, and when I say our shows, BIW, that's
for Josh. I know Josh.
I work for Josh more than I work for anybody else. When Barrett shows up, he shows up. Not only did he show up with his cruiserweight belt, I mean, he was announced as the AIWF cruiserweight champion, and then he defended it. He started defending it on Josh's shows. that was not something that normally champions from another promotion, they leave their belts in the back. They don't go to the ring as the champion of that promotion. So it says a lot to me.
Graciously, Josh, well, we talked to him beforehand and got all that hammered out. And he's a great guy. I mean, BIW, they kill it in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. I mean, he does a great job. Yeah, and I know he trusts Barrett a lot, and he has a very high opinion of Barrett as well, so that helped. But yeah, he agreed to put the title on the line, and let's go. And I knew he had top talent. I told him when I sent him the contract, I'm like, hey, I'm not worried who you put in this. I know they're going to represent, but here's the standard contract, and we can't wait to see it. And it was that simple with BIW.
So, I'm sorry. So, is BIW does the belt have to be defended in a promotion that is part of the federation?
No, we don't have that per se in our rule book. I mean, there's some honor code there. Like I wouldn't want it defended in a promotion that runs 10 minutes from one of my other partners, but
sure.
But you gotta know how to manage it, and but like I said, BIW, I wasn't worried at all. We're not really running super close to them. I know Gulf States runs a little like semi-close at times, but it's not super close.
Yeah, we're out. I mean, even at our closest, because we run the northern part of the state.
Yeah, he's down south.
225's down in Houma, which is my favorite city to ever referee matches in. I love Houma, Louisiana. The fans in Houma, Louisiana are next level. I mean, they are passionate. They completely buy into everything you're doing. It's an incredible town for wrestling.
Yeah, and I actually drug one of y'all's Louisiana legends out of retirement at the last anniversary show of the Minotaur. I'm sure y'all know the Minotaur very well.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I was expecting you to say Steve Anthony, but I wasn't prepared for Minotaur. But yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, we had him. He's another great guy. I mean, he actually lives up in this area now. So.
Well, that's awesome.
You were talking about. I'm still stuck on like kind of the gathering, the meeting of all the promoters. You said that happens in March.
Yeah, it's historically happened in March here in North Carolina.
So is that kind of like the shows that you have? Is that kind of like your big event? I guess.
Yeah, it's probably our biggest event because we have promotions and talent from all over the country. We're also known for our battle royal that weekend. We're going to have like a 30 to 50 person battle royal that weekend.
And are you the promoter of that show?
Yes.
Or is it a little bit? Okay, you are the promoter. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the one that organizes that. I pretty much organized that for us, and we just had our annual Crazy 8 Cruiserweight tournament, which happened actually last weekend in Madison, Indiana, and it's moved around. It's been around the country. It's been in Indiana, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia. We've been running it 14 years. Our 15th, we've already got it signed for next year. We're going to be in South Carolina next year.
Oh, that is so cool.
We've had guys like in that one. Yeah, we've had guys like Cedric Alexander in that. I had Jimmy Rave in that. Lee Moriarty from AEW. Zenshi from Major League Wrestling. I think he's still with Major League Wrestling. He was in one year, and countless others.
So do you have any?
What's going on?
Who do you have on your radar as up and comers right now? Who's red hot on the indies?
Oh, up and comers
traveling the country that are just. I don't know if it's up and comers or just they're. Why haven't they been signed yet? Or people you have your eye on?
Oh, like that's too many. That's gonna get me in trouble. I can't give that correctly.
I know. Isn't it bad that you can't? And I'm bad about it. That you'll see somebody that impresses you so much, and it's hard to give them a compliment without it sounding like you're slighting everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one guy I really like that's semi-close to your area. He's mainly at EPW down in Boonesville, in Mississippi. Marco Harris. I really like him.
I believe I've worked with him before.
What do you like about him?
Very athletic, very confident. The crowd really seems to enjoy him as well, and that's always a plus.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, people were willing to cut Dave over, bad calls and stuff. So I mean, when the fans react that way, I mean, like you said, that's the best kind of crowd.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, down south, you're usually going to get a crowd like that. Thankfully, I mean, I think the southern fan base, it takes a little more serious than in other areas of the country. Even though I got booed in Pittsburgh. I ran in Pittsburgh one year. I actually worked with Joe Dabrowski of MLW, who's a good friend of mine to this day.
Uh-huh.
And I have an accent. And Pittsburgh people do not talk like me, so I'm ring announcing and I'm getting jeered the whole time. I'm like, okay, it's interesting.
Well, I'm Kentucky, so I totally understand what you're saying. So
from the promoter side of things, what would you say to other promoters are the top 3 don'ts to do as a promoter? What 3 things would get you in the most trouble?
Don't not have the money to pay your talent going in the door. Don't forget to promote your events and promote it in multiple streams. You can't just put it on Facebook. You can't just pay for ads. You got to post to your town. You got to, go get the word out there. So do that, and don't book anyone that's like they're just there to be there. Like you have to make sure they're there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So build your team, because that's what's going to take in the long run to be a successful promoter. You have to build a successful team, and just like any other professional team, you're going to have to switch out parts eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I was in St. Louis a few years ago, 2017, I think it
For
was.
Herb?
Was that?
Was it for Herb Simmons?
No. I was there on vacation.
Oh,
I was there on vacation. I went up to go see Conrad and Bruce do a live show, and went to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that was there. We had tickets. We went. The reason I mention it is I came out the door after the matches. Sorry for the dog. I came out the door for the matches, and there's the local promotions there putting flyers on everybody's cars, and they're passing them out to people walking by. But if I can walk by Michael Elgin passing out flyers for him versus Cody Rhodes, that was what it was going to be. But like I said, Michael Elgin, he don't have. I mean, you think that guy's been there, done that, huge star.
yeah.
But if he can go out and pass out flyers, anybody on that card, nobody's too good to go out and pass out flyers, paper the town. I mean, flood the town with promotion.
Yeah, Mike's a great guy. I mean, actually, I just had him. He was here in March for me. So yeah, Mike's a great guy. He's about to have his second child. Congrats to him on that. But he's a great talent. He'll tell you like it is, and I mean, I appreciate that. I don't want the talent to lie to me. I want them to tell me like it is, whether it's good, bad, or the ugly, just like Clint Eastwood said.
That's right. I think, we've even seen kind of what you were saying, Dave. We've seen Jimmy Hart helping set up, like at different conventions or whatever. Because like you said, he, it takes a team, and he's no good. He's no better than anybody else. Like he's wants the place or the promotion or whatever he's doing to be as successful as possible. So, I like that he was passing out the flyers, paper in the cars after what do you say, Money in the Bank?
It was after Money in the Bank.
Because you're already like hyped up from seeing a great wrestling show, and then you could come out in your car and you see there's going to be another, like get you excited about the next thing that's coming up.
Well, yeah, Michael Elgin and Cody Rhodes would have just seeing that on that flyer would have been impressive enough. But I was just knocked over that Michael Elgin, that he was out there doing it.
Well, yes.
And I see it a lot on shows that, I mean, you get national talent would come in and work a show, and they'll stick around, tear the ring down. I mean, they don't have to do that.
No, exactly. And just talk to the fans, and just like you said, the ones that really want to be there love talking to the fans and interacting with them. It doesn't matter if the crowd is 10,000 people or 100, I could just speak. I got to see Matt Taven when I came down to see Pondwater, and super great after the show, talking to everybody. Again, he doesn't have to do that. He could have just left, and interacted with the crowd. I mean, that's what makes you want to come back, is just the level of professionalism that the people that they're, your promoters are bringing in, and just the excitement. They're just as excited to see you as you are to see them.
Yeah, it's the energy levels they bring. I can say that from two of the guys that I learned about, and both are in the WWE Hall of Fame. Jimmy Boogie Woogie Valiant and Ricky Morton. Like, they always high energy. They're walking around interacting. They're always talking to other young wrestlers, and they're just there having a good time. And I mean, I think that's how you should be at a show. If you're not having a good time, the fans are not going to have a good time.
Exactly. That's very true. That's probably why you're the promoter of all those, the head honcho.
I had the opportunity to work with Ricky Morton last year in Huntsville. And I mean, I was thrilled to death to have the opportunity to work with him. But what was so impressive about him is his willingness to help the youngsters.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was a great guy.
He was in teaching mode the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what this generation is not getting as much as past, because they would be in the car with these guys and they would be traveling, and that's what they would be talking about. And I mean, most guys, I mean, I'm just being honest, most talent these days are weekend warriors. I know very few people that do this full time. I mean, I don't even do this full time, but I'm like, it's a totally different ball game these days.
Yeah, when I was a kid, you could get wrestling Monday through Friday, normally within driving distance. Then I grew up in Dallas, so World Class would tell you where they were going to be during the week. You knew Monday was Fort Worth, but Tuesday could have been Garland, Texas, or Halton City, like you mentioned. They were always somewhere, and you really couldn't put together, when are these guys getting any time off, because they were working every night, making a living in the wrestling business.
Yeah, and the guys are just not getting the reps that they used to get. Because I mean, even some of the best guys I know in the business right now, they're getting 3-4 nights a week. Some are getting 2 nights a week. But I mean, back in the day, like you said, they were getting a full week's of reps every week.
But it's still exciting to me. I love watching. I tell everybody on this show, we talk about the indies constantly. We don't call it the minor leagues. We call it the superstar wrestlers. That a lot of what you see on the indies is maybe better than what you see on TV. They just haven't been seen by the right pair of eyes yet. Now, you got a lot of young guys that are still learning their craft, but you got a lot of guys that just hadn't had the same break yet. And I don't like everybody to think that, like, oh, you're not a pro wrestler because you're not on television. That's not the case.
No, not at all. And I mean, that's what our tagline is. We're the past, present, and future of professional wrestling. Because like you said, I mean, you can't turn on your TV and see guys that haven't been on one of our shows at one point.
Yep. And also, they might have been in the indies and they got their run on television, but then they're back down in the indies.
Exactly.
I mean, I heard Jinder Mahal this week went out and told the fans, don't blame WWE for WWE treated me right. WWE set me financially. WWE gave me exposure. I created relationships. I can do whatever I want to. And Jinder Mahal's on the independent circuit, and he's happy about it right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys I know that have been cut in the past year, they're making a good living out there on the indies. And I don't want to tell anybody's business, but I mean, some of the guys are getting between like $1,500 to $2,500 a shot. I mean, they're making more on the indies than they were making under WWE contract.
And it's good that the business is strong enough now that it can support that.
Yeah, we have a lot of great platforms. I mean, you don't have to just see it live in person anymore. That's the best way to view it. But you can watch it streaming. You can watch it online. You can watch it, and you don't have to wait for the magazines. I love the magazines. I grew up on the magazines, but now like the news is like instantaneous for anything to do with all the way from the top to the bottom. You can find it online anytime. Yeah,
it's completely different. And when you mentioned the magazines, I was the same way. I couldn't wait for the next issue to come out. And I always tell the story about going to the arena thinking I was going to see Ric Flair, and Harley Race won the belt, and we didn't know Harley Race was champion until we got to the arena. One time, Dusty Rhodes won the championship, and I went to go the Great American Bash in Dallas. Got to the arena, and the marquee had flipped. It was Dusty defending against Flair instead of challenging. But you didn't know it till you got there, because back then we just the magazines were 2 months behind anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, like PWI is only every other month now, that's crazy to me. But that's a story for another day.
I still like it. I love having that magazine in my hand and flipping pages.
They got a lot of great staff. I'm good friends with Mike Bessler over there, who writes mostly the independent stuff for the PWI. He's a great guy.
And it excites me to see the people that I work with get a little recognition in there.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to cut y'all guys short. If you got any last questions, let's go ahead and ask them, because I gotta run in just a minute.
Anybody got anything else for? Well,
Thank
we
you
won't
so
keep you
much
then.
for joining
Matt,
us.
Thank
Oh,
you
no
so
problem.
much
I
for
appreciate
coming
it. Thank
on.
you for having me.
I just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully I'll find myself on one of your shows sooner than later.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you will. I mean, we got them all over the country, all over the world. So
Well, you keep.
So cool.
I appreciate you posting them whenever they need referees, because there was one time you posted one, and it was going to be an 8-hour drive, and I was trying to talk my wife into it. So let's make it a weekend trip. But we would have had to get in the car to go for me to make it.
yeah, I mean, there's always opportunities out there that pop up. So I mean, and that's why I post them, because I mean, you never know who's gonna jump on them.
Well, we appreciate you for doing it. Appreciate what you do, and keep doing it. And the best of luck to you in the future.
All right, thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Matt Classic, everyone.
So what do you mean he posted it? Like on the Facebook page?
On
or
his
like,
Facebook page. You can
Okay.
follow him as Matt Classic Creed. Most of what he posts on Facebook is directed at people in the business.
Really?
And
Okay.
but I mean, like, if you
on
got a
his
show that has a
personal.
cancellation, hey, or say like, hey, somebody to
Oh.
let him know we got a carload going to this show. They got a seat open for one if you want to go.
Oh,
And
really?
that's how you can go. And sometimes guys are like, I won't call anybody by name because I see it. But let's say we'll just say that if I'm going to Atlanta, I got a booking in Atlanta, and I got 2 guys riding with me. So we're gonna split gas, right?
Sure.
We're gonna expenses, but we still got room to get somebody else in here.
Mhm.
We may throw it out there and say, hey, we're going to this show in Atlanta. We're not
Okay.
promising you're going to get booked, but you might want to go with us to get a little exposure to that promoter.
Get
You might help
introduced
in the
or
back or something.
whatever.
But what I'm saying is, now we've added somebody else to the car, or we might, hey, they're looking for this guy. If you're eligible, we can send it, and that the promoters, then you can go. Because sometimes last minute things have to happen. And that's what he's talking about, his network. But I know one day that, hey, we need a referee at this show, or we need 2 referees at this show.
Right.
And on that particular one, I want to say it may have been North Carolina, might have been Atlanta. It wasn't a close drive, might have been Tennessee.
Well,
I knew
you
I had to
can
get
come see me.
I had to get on board, but my
Right.
thinking is I want, because I love getting out and working in new places.
Yeah.
2022, 2 years ago, I worked in 6 states
Mm-hmm.
on 4 pay-per-views. On this day in 2022, I worked my first pay-per-view for
Really?
Black Label Pro.
Uh-huh.
And then later in that night, after the roast of Ric Flair, I worked GCW for the first time. So I did
Oh, it
2
has
years
been
ago
2
today.
years. Oh my
I got
God.
to do got my first taste of television wrestling.
Isn't that crazy that it's been 2 years?
I know.
I was there. I wasn't at the show. I was at StarCast.
I worked with Masha Slamovic.
Uh-huh.
I worked with Speedball Bailey that day.
Awesome. We like Speedball. Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Not just Speedball.
Masha
just Bailey.
Slamovic. I love seeing what she's doing in TNA right now.
Uh-huh.
But
she's a blonde? Is she blonde-headed? You didn't
Yeah,
look.
dirty
She has
blonde.
big boobs.
No.
She does it? Okay, this is the wrong person then.
No,
Sorry.
she's incredible. I mean, she wrestled an intergender match, and y'all know how I feel about intergender wrestling.
Yeah.
The match made sense. The match was good. It was not unbelievable in the least. She made the guy tap. It was an incredibly worked match. I apologize. I can't remember his name off the top of my head at the moment, and I'm
Where
always
was it?
embarrassed. I
Where
just
was
said,
the match?
oh, it's Black Label Pro.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, it was on GC.
Oh,
No, that was on GCW. That was
okay.
my match on GCW. Was it? Yeah,
I am elderly.
they both run together.
I bet. That weekend probably all runs. I mean, there's a lot of
No,
stuff
oh,
going
no,
on that
Sunday.
weekend.
The Sunday part of that weekend, I'm very clear on what happened that day.
Oh, your claim to fame. I know.
Excuse me.
That I just asked Matt Classic if I could be his friend on Facebook. So I don't know if he'll let me because I don't,
Probably.
you know, I'm not going to be. But I love that. I just love, like I said, I love being that fly on the wall. So
Oh,
like to see all that, like, oh, we're going to a show. I don't know.
well,
It
Josh
just
is.
makes me feel
I've
part
talked
of
to
it.
Josh about him. I mean, Josh has told me about and of course Barrett being their champion.
Yeah.
And it just the territory system working in 2024.
Yes.
It just excites me to be in the wrestling business when you know that there's promotions that will work together for the greater good.
Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, I love the way they have like I hate to say a meeting, but it's like, all the mob families come together, like the NWA and the territories. And I like how they all come together in March and, you know,
Well, and I'm sure that
talk.
when they're conducting business that they'll do a Zoom meeting and everybody can be there. I mean, with the way that things are today, there's no reason. If the NWA was still a territory system, they probably would have meetings virtually too.
You think so? You don't think they'd like getting together, like old school, getting together like that? Like everybody showing up. Again, I picture it like the Gambino family and the, Corleones and like all them coming together and showing off all their power. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't slept very much either, so
and they're not the
hilarious.
they're not the only federation territory. They're not the only territory system. There's another one called King of Sports Wrestling Alliance that's out there. Right. And I know that they run some in Arkansas. They're all over too.
Right.
Legacy Championship Wrestling is a member.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So
cool. I'm glad we were able to talk to him.
But when you talk about one that's been around since 92,
mm-hmm.
and 150, and what did he say? 47 countries?
46, I thought. Yeah, 46, 47
46, 47 countries. Catherine Summers says the Indies are amazing.
Yes, they are.
And she is correct. I'm going to be back in the ring August 24th, and I'm super excited about it.
August 24th, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that as soon? I mean, obviously your knee has got to be healed, right? Is that when you're being released, I guess?
I've got another 30 days. I go back August 30th.
Okay.
I went to the doctor today, and he told me that he wanted me to do some therapy and get my leg, because my leg's not strong. Well, I've lost a lot of strength in my leg. He wants me to go to physical therapy to strengthen my left leg. I still can't get down on my knees, but I'm not walking with a limp. I'm moving much better. I'm feeling good. I worked Monday really hard, Amy, and I'm not paying the price for it today.
That's awesome. So, that's good. That's good.
I think he wants to keep. I'm having to extend my anti-inflammatories.
Yeah.
Because when I get off the anti-inflammatories, leg starts hurting again.
Sure.
Like last Thursday, I would have told you I had gone backwards.
Oh, yeah.
So
when you do return to the
ring, I got on anti-inflammatories and I'm good again.
And that's helped. When you return to the ring, where are you going to be?
Summerall, Mississippi, at the high school gym for Legacy Championship Wrestling.
Awesome. Okay.
Tim points out that the King of Sports champion is Nobi Bryant.
Okay.
And Nobi's their champion. Noby's an alumni of PCW.
Oh, okay.
So I've known. I worked with Noby 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Do you know how big that federation is? I mean,
No,
or how many?
no,
Okay.
I'd have to go
I'm just
look.
curious. Yeah. Never mind. I'm just curious. What else is going on, guys?
We were talking about AEW before you showed up, and we were talking about Battle of the Belts. And I said they should have called it Battle of the Belt because they don't have they had one belt defended on that show. Everything else was these
Really?
qualifier matches. Championship qualifiers make no sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. If you're the champion and you're giving someone a chance to beat you to earn a title shot, why don't you just let them defend the title? Because if that other wrestler's taking an L, let them take an L in a title match, not in a qualifier.
It is a weird. I mean, I think we've heard and we have seen that Tony Khan really does like tournaments, and I
But
guess it's a way
qualifiers make
to.
as much sense as tits on a boar hog.
Well, yes, I guess it's a way of extending out when you don't have a story, which unfortunately
But
sometimes they
nobody ever
find
wins a
themselves.
qualifier.
That's true.
The story is you let
That's
somebody.
true.
The story is you let somebody sneak up and pin your champion in what's supposed to be a squash match.
Right. Right.
You know, or maybe you let your champion get pinned in a tag match. Oh, I pinned the champ. I should get a title shot.
Right.
I mean,
know.
that's just me. But the quality of the Collision the other night was good, and I enjoyed the Battle of the Belts.
Did you
They
like
were
Blood and
doing
Guts?
I didn't watch Blood and Guts.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I watched Rampage Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
It's running together on me. Either Friday night or Saturday. They had a rumble.
I think that was that
No,
Friday.
that was Friday night. It was Friday night
Yeah.
because they taped it. They taped it with the double ring. And Hangman came out and cost Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett was rolling. I had allowed myself to believe. I thought, oh, great, Jeff's going to win. Jeff's going to win. Because the winner of this is going to get a title shot at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Oh, okay.
And then they let Darby win, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They let, and he was just in the Blood and Guts match.
Yeah.
Which, let me ask y'all a question. So I know you didn't see it, Dave. Did you see it, Justin? No, I don't know why I even asked. No, I know you didn't. So let me ask you this. Let me just tell you this scenario, and let me tell you, and I'll tell you what I think, and then you all tell me what you think. Okay. So in the last final minutes, everybody's in the ring and stuff like that. The AEW team, I guess it was, which I would say, which are the good guys. Let's just say the baby faces. Darby, the Acclaimed. Who else was on that team? Whoever.
Swerve.
Those people. Swerve. Thank you. Them versus Matt and Nicholas Jackson and
Okada,
Perry. I feel like there's somebody else. But anyway.
There's only 4 on there. There's only 4 in the match, wasn't there?
Was it 4-on-4? Okay, well, maybe that will help me figure out why there's. Okay, anyway. So this is the scenario. They have Paige was in it.
Paige was on there.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So
then the fifth one for Team AEW would have been. I know it was Swerve, Darby, the Acclaimed, and
was it I don't know. It wasn't Garcia or anybody like that, was it? Well, they're not important to this story, unfortunately. If you think about it, let me know, guys. So they have handcuffed Jack Perry, to the cage. Okay. And they have doused him with gasoline. And they have told Matt, or I think it was Matt Jackson, quit or I'm going to light him on fire. Okay. Oh, that's right. It was Mark Briscoe. Thank you. And first they get Jack. They tell Jack Perry, quit or we're going to light you on fire. And Jack Perry will not quit. He will not say quit and lose for his team. So then then Matt Jackson's like, okay, y'all are going too far. You need to stop. And so then Darby is sitting there with his lighter telling Matt Jackson, you say you quit or I'm going to light Jack Perry on fire. Matt says, quit, it's too far, whatever. To me, I feel like the team's reversed and like Darby Allin was the heel. Like you're going to set a person on fire unless this team quits. And I feel like that's a babyface move. Number one, not to quit. And then to quit to save your teammate's life, which is weird in a wrestling match. So I don't know. I have some real mixed feelings about the fact that we're going to light them on fire.
I'm upset they didn't.
I don't want them. I was really afraid they were going to.
As a matter of fact, if Darby would have set Jungle Boy on fire and then set himself on fire, I would have popped for that.
That's terrible, Dave. But isn't that like a baby face move? Like I don't understand where Darby Allin's supposed to be the hero in this.
Dave, who all was setting themselves on fire?
Darby Allin and Jungle Boy.
You forgot someone. Can we throw Tony Khan in as well? Can he?
Oh, I'll tell you. But Briscoe's doing the best work right now.
Exactly.
Man, he was on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view the other night, defended it. I mean, he's been all over the place. And then he's got a new baby, and he introduced the baby, brought the baby out. And he was cutting a promo, and that baby's just sitting there, and the baby's name is Jay.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm with you. Mark is doing the best work. He's being seen by the most. I mean, I love it. I love it for him.
He's over like crazy.
How do you feel about the Von Erichs winning? Did you know that?
Yes, I watched it.
Okay, you did watch it. Okay,
I did watch it.
Oh, that's right. Von Erich was on wrestling.
I thought Kevin was going to
you would have found it. No,
I thought Kevin was going to put out Roderick's eye, trying to get the claw on his head. He kept moving, and he was sweaty. And I thought Kevin was going to put the claw through his eye holes, put one in his mouth and two in his eyes, and just sling him around like a bowling ball.
Hey, whatever you got to do, right, to get this finish.
I thought it was a good match. Man, I love Matt Taven so much. Seeing Matt Taven on there. I mean, I don't know why they merged the belts and then split the belts, but you have the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes as 6-man, not trios. These are men. 6-man tag team champions.
Mm-hmm.
When you think 6-man championship, that's synonymous with Von Erichs and Freebirds. But Dustin Rhodes was a WCW 6-man tag team champion.
With who?
So 6-man championships are not new to Dustin either.
Right. Who was he a 6-man champion with?
He don't remember that part.
I remember he was a 6-man champion.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Buff Bagwell and Too Cold Scorpion.
Man, there ain't no telling. I mean, they never defended him.
Oh, did you guys get to listen to the Adam Bomb interview with Conrad this week yet?
Not yet.
No.
But Adam Bomb is on TikTok Live regularly.
Yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about it.
Got a nice setup too.
I guess we'll talk about it next week after you guys get a chance to listen. All I'm going to say is he comes across really, to me, as someone who thinks that he was way more important than he was. Like, I don't know. It's like hearing him retell things. It's like he thought Adam Bomb was way bigger than it was, or whatever. I don't know. Just see what you guys think. He comes across as very nice, but also comes across as maybe thinking he was a little more important to the business than he was.
I gotcha. Just so we all know, Dustin Rhodes was a 6-man champion with Tom Zink and Big Josh.
And Big Josh, Terry Weaver's got it.
With,
I knew it was
Josh.
gonna be. I knew it was gonna be two random people like that.
Matt Bourne, right? That's Matt Bourne.
Matt Bourne, yes.
Doink. Doink and
Before he
Tom
was
Zink.
going. That is kind of a interesting group. I don't know who. You know what? I want to look and see who did they beat. I'm just
The Z
curious.
Man. He's
Well,
a
here's the
good-looking
thing.
man, as Tony Schiavone says.
Here's the thing. The World 6-Man Tag Team Championships were created it was a perfect storm for the Von Erich Freebird feud. 3 Freebirds, 3 Von Erichs. It told a story. They used that title to tell a story. Occasionally, somebody else would put a team together and challenge for it, but pretty much that was it. The NWA had one. I think they put it on the Russians. Road Warriors and Dusty got it. But I mean, it's never been a championship that's been highly contested, and it ought to be contested regularly in AEW because they got enough factions to pull it off.
Yeah, definitely.
When you have as many factions as they have, you can feature a 6-man tag team championship, and it's beautiful.
and
if you'll do it. And there's so many factions that you can do that in AEW.
You could.
Well, and Terry is correct. Big Josh, Dustin, and Tom beat the Freebirds for that 6-man title.
Are you there?
And that would have been Michael Hayes, Jimmy Jam, and Bad Street, probably.
Yep, that's exactly who it was.
And Bad Street was Brad Armstrong.
Did you get to see the new Pete Rose documentary that just came out on HBO Max?
I did not, but I will make it a point to go watch it.
Okay, so
I love Pete Rose.
Guys, as you know, someone who is a lifelong Reds fan here and has been a Reds fan all my life. I loved Pete Rose as a kid. He was, of course, all-time hits leader and, considered in Cincinnati as a god. Like Johnny Bench might be the best player we've ever had. Frank Robinson might be the best player we've ever had.
Yeah, those guys did a little something.
But Pete Rose is the most beloved in the town. Like there's the highway going right by the stadium is Pete Rose Way. And so
Really?
I grew up, a big Pete Rose fan. This documentary gave me, I knew he was an asshole, but this documentary really reveals how big of an asshole he is. And just not only the gambling addiction, which is ridiculous, but, possibly having relationships with women that were quite young at the time. And just disregard for the way he treats people. He got in trouble in Philadelphia a few years ago when they were celebrating the 1980 World Series winning Phillies. And a lady asked him a question and he called her babe. And afterwards, she asked him to apologize. And he said, she should be thankful I called her babe. Like.
What year was it?
Like 3 years ago. Like,
oh,
yeah. Like, just it reveals how truly big of an asshole Pete Rose is. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's quite interesting. And there's a lot of stuff in there that I've never seen before. And I'm, like I said,
I don't want to watch one of my heroes get torn down.
Well, he tears himself down because it's his own words,
Right.
Does he have any remorse for it or?
Hell no.
Huh? Unapologetic.
He's never had remorse for anything. The only thing I think Pete Rose ever had remorse for was getting caught.
Yeah. But he should have been forgiven by now. Because whenever they need him, because here's the thing, whenever they want to trot out one of their all-time teams, hey Pete, can you come out and do this? And Pete will come do it. He comes running. So no, you can't string him in. I mean, if he's good enough for you to bring in when you need him.
Well, and see, but here's the thing, the reason why you need to watch it, Dave, it reveals some of that. How Major League Baseball had worked a few times with Pete, I think, trying to make a pathway for him to come back. And each time Pete would F it up in his own which way, like he does. So, I used to think that he should be in the Hall of Fame but never be allowed back in baseball. And now, after watching that, I don't think he should be in either. I think he's a disgraceful human being that would tarnish the Hall of Fame if he was put in it.
So do we go back and kick Ty Cobb out?
You know,
No, I don't know.
I don't know, but here's the thing: Ty Cobb was an asshole,
Yeah.
but he was privately an asshole. He didn't do everything that Pete Rose has done.
Wasn't he a public racist?
Yes, a lot of people were public racists back in the
What I'm saying is,
30s.
I bet on baseball too, Justin. But if you beat your wife in Major League Baseball, you're forgiven.
Well,
and you
what
can be
I'm
a
saying
Hall-
is, I'm not just saying he shouldn't be allowed in because of the betting. I think it's the other things that I even have a bigger problem with. You know, being with a 15-year-old girl,
yeah,
and things like that. I think that him being in the Hall of Fame would stain it.
Mm.
And that's coming from a Cincinnati boy. That is hard for me to say that, but after watching that documentary, it's how I feel.
You make great points, but I also believe that the all-time hits leader belongs in
Well,
what he did on the field. To me, what you do on the field dictates whether or not you're a Hall of Famer. Because if we start going to looking at folks' behavior off the field, you could eliminate half the Hall of Fame.
So, do you feel the same way about Chris Benoit?
Chris Benoit had
yes,
a Hall
I
of
do.
Fame. He had a Hall of Fame career inside the ring.
Do you think he should be part of the WWE should induct him into the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely not.
I mean, that's what I'm saying with what you
Yeah,
just
I feel
said,
the same
Dave.
way I feel about Benoit as I feel about Rose.
Yeah. But what
I mean,
Dave
I'm
was
not giving him a
saying-
pass.
No, I know.
But if they could come out and definitively say that Chris Benoit, everything he did in the ring turned his brain into mush, and that's why he did what he did.
I agree.
But even
I've
Paul
always
Heyman
said
says,
that.
don't give him a pass. He did what he did.
Right.
I'm not giving him a pass for it.
Right.
But
no,
I'm
I
not.
know.
But I will not. I'm not ever. I mean, I don't feel like I should have to apologize to you if I bring Chris Benoit's name up.
No, what
If
I'm
we're doing a
talking
recap
about,
on something.
I'm talking about is if we just what you just said that he's the whatever. I don't
The
know
best
much about baseball.
at his profession.
You should, the best of hitters should be in the Hall of Fame, and you should look at what he did on the field.
And I'll cop out and say that it's a legitimate sport.
What?
I mean, what Pete Rose did was legitimate. I mean, it wasn't a work sport.
Right. Yeah, but I agree with what I think. Amy's question is legitimate. Benoit was the best at what he did, and if we're just judging that, then of course he belongs in the Hall of Fame. But of course, you can't have him in the Hall of Fame.
I can't remember, but I'm going to try to make a point. Did they remove O.J. Simpson from the NFL Hall of Fame?
I don't think so because he was never found guilty.
That's why I was going to say he was never. No matter what we all believe, but I mean it's a gray area.
Yeah.
But if I went to Canton and I saw Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, all-time hit leader on the wall, I would not be as upset about him being included as it bothers me that he's not. Just for the simple reason is I've been on baseball too. So what you're telling me is,
but you weren't playing it.
No, but what you're telling me is, as a gambler, I mean, what I'm saying is, y'all have that much disdain for gamblers, but what everybody else did is 10 times worse than gambling, and you can't forgive the gambling.
No, I agree. I mean, again, I think it's a completely different, but I think to Justin's point, he's talking about how it's not so much the gambling, it's
everything else. Plus, it's the fact that they have tried to work with him and he screws it up by doing something or saying something every time. And so they just can't. And so that's the thing with Pete. Pete is his own worst enemy, and he always has been, especially being from Cincinnati, because the 1919 World Series, the famous Black Sox World Series, where they threw the World Series for money and Shoeless Joe Jackson and all that. Guess who won that World Series? The Cincinnati Reds. And so for Pete, who's from Cincinnati, of all people, he should know not to be messing around with betting on baseball.
Mm.
And I do think you want your Hall of Fame to be a representation of a person as a whole. You don't want to say, yeah, you could be the biggest asshole in the world to your fans but you hit whatever 500, so we're going to, you know what I mean? Like, I think the Hall of Fame is for people that, yes, they were good on the field, but overall
Does
they were good for the sport. And
Yeah.
I don't
am I
think, you know,
am I right
I
in
don't know.
remembering that it was Daryl Strawberry that had a drug problem?
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
he
Is
did.
Daryl Strawberry in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
I have no idea.
I
Okay,
don't think yet.
I
because
don't know
gambling
anything.
Maybe.
is an addiction too.
Well, Efren says, can you look at the accomplishments of Chris Benoit, the wrestler, without seeing Chris Benoit, the person?
You
And
cannot.
does he belong in any Hall of Fame? I don't think so.
And I'm
I
going
don't
to
see
tell
how
you,
you
and
could have a Hall of Fame celebration for him. How can people clap when
you
you say, you
can't,
know what,
out
now
of
we're going to
respect for the victims and their families.
right?
The victims'
And
families, you can't do it, and I understand that.
I think that's the reason why when someone goes into a Hall of Fame, it shouldn't be just about their accomplishments on whatever, the field, the boxing ring, whatever they're doing. It's what they did for the sport. And like you said, you can't celebrate Pete Rose without thinking about all the gambling or the shitty
If
attitude he
including
had, or
someone to your Hall of Fame, if including someone into your Hall of Fame hurts your sport, then you
Yeah,
probably shouldn't do it. And I think
I
both in
agree.
Chris Benoit and Pete Rose, I think it would hurt the sport. Now, in Pete
Well, what you
Rose's
said
case,
about
Point.
underage girls, I will give to you. That would be to me
yeah,
that might I would accept that as a sticking point. But if you're going to tell me, that the gambling should keep Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame,
no,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
he
the
is.
gambling, and I don't think the gambling is. I think the
you think it's
lying and Pete's own actions since is what's keeping him out. And
I think
when I say
I think
lying, I
it's
don't
on
mean
Major
about
League.
betting on baseball.
Well, I think it's on Major League Baseball not to invite him to do anything at all
I
whatsoever.
would agree with that.
That
And
knife cuts both
I don't
ways.
think they have since that Phillies incident occurred. So,
Okay.
But you're
and
right, Dave. Like, don't parade him out as like this great thing for baseball if
Right.
you don't feel comfortable with putting him in your Hall of Fame.
when
Well,
that young girl thing came out, that story came back out. He was a talking head on Fox Saturday Baseball with
What
Frank
is with
Thomas and a couple other people, and they fired him from that. And
mm,
he
what
actually got them ratings. Their ratings went up big when Pete Rose was on their show.
what is
he-
with at you all being men with young women? Jerry Lawler got in trouble for that too
It ain't
back in
me,
the
babe,
80s.
as Johnny Cash said. Look,
it ain't me either.
I'm
You know
just
how I am.
saying that is, I mean, you think about some of the
I've got a track
more
record. I got a three
prolific.
kid minimum on my women.
well,
They're cute.
Terry Weaver says he likes older women.
Oh Lord.
They are beautiful lovers,
You know what else
and
is
they
good for
understand.
ratings?
Silly.
You know what else
What?
is good for ratings? And we desperately need some right now.
Amy,
It's time for Amy's trivia. Think you have the facts? Let's play and see.
I gotta figure out where it is. I know you appreciate
He
that.
did just bring it. He just brought it right up on you, didn't he?
I will say this though. As we all know, maybe y'all don't know out there, last week was my birthday. And we talked about somebody else on that particular show last week that had the same birthday as me. Do you
Mhm.
remember who that was?
I remember
David Von Erich.
Oh,
Besides David. Jesus.
I can't remember. Jesus is December 25th.
and I don't even think that's his real one.
If this is a wrestling show, we'll go with his kayfabe birthday.
Oh my gosh.
It's Jesus's kayfabe birthday.
It was Bob Roop.
Bob Roop.
It was his
Yeah.
birthday. So I thought we would do a little bit more of a deep dive because David talked about how you had talked to him and
I did.
encouraged other people to, if you go to conventions and that kind of stuff, like he was a legend. He was one of those that wrestling was kind of built on. You know what I'm saying? He was a worker, and so to take your time to talk to them and stuff. So I thought we'd learn a little bit more about
Oh
Bob.
God, I'm gonna suck at this.
No. Oh, okay. Bob and Amy share something in common. They were both born on the same day, July 22nd. However, Bob is a few years older.
Like
What
3.
Yeah.
what year was Bob Roop? I'm gonna punch you next time I see you. What year was Bob Roop born? Was he born in 43, 42,
All right.
41, or 40?
You know what I do when I absolutely have no idea? I go with my lucky number 2. Come on, 1942. We weren't even in World War II yet.
No. What do you
I'm
think,
gonna go.
Dave?
I'm gonna go with 43.
You know what, Justin? You're off to a banging start.
It's the
'Cause it was
2s.
1942.
Wow.
Is Stephanie there, or is it you?
No, he's a year older. He's a
You're
year
old-
older than my mother.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say yourself. You're
Can
No,
you
I'm saying Mr.
show?
Roop's a year older than my mother, and my mother gets around a lot better.
Well, I don't. Was your mother
Efren said
wrestling for?
1838 was when Bob Roop.
I'm sure he took some beatings out there. So I'm sure. I'm trying to find. Okay.
If I'm gonna suck at it, Efren, I'm gonna suck right. You know
Oh,
that.
Jesus.
You know his motto: if at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
All right.
1942.
1942.
Bob was a member of what branch of the military? Was it the
Oh.
Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines?
My God,
I'm going to go with the Navy.
In the Navy.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he was in
You
the
can
Air
sail the 7
Force.
seas.
I'm going to say he was in the Air Force. For some reason, I felt like he told me that.
That was my first guess, and then I moved off and went to Navy.
If he told you that, he lied to you.
Then
Because
he
he
didn't
was in
tell
the
me.
Navy.
Army. He was in the Army.
No, it's the Navy.
He was in the Army. And something that is interesting, I don't have my book with me, but I have a book. It's called The Wrestler's Wrestler, and he is one of the workers. So they have the book, and oh, here it is. Hold on.
Oh, she's getting her props out.
Terry's over here batting 1,000.
This
No,
is
Terry
called
thinks-
The Wrestler's Wrestling. And it's the Masters of the Craft of Professional Wrestling. I think Jim Cornette suggested that book one time. or
Yeah,
something.
goddamn, read this book.
But I really like. I love reading different books. It's by Dan Murphy and Brian Young, and the Sinister Minister James Mitchell is the one who wrote the foreword. Now, you can't see it, but they break it down. Like part 1 is the Founding Fathers, and it talks about Ed Strangler Lewis, Pat O'Connor, Johnny
Alexander
Valentine,
Hamilton. Yeah. Oh.
the bumpers, the shooters, and the psychologists. You got Ray Stevens, Bob Orton Jr., Bob Roop, Luna Vachon, and they go through and the kings of the territory. The
I love
supercar,
Luna Vachon, man. If
I
there
do
was
too.
anyone that was made to be a wrestler, it was Luna Vachon.
Right. And so it's a really cool book. If anyone ever gets the opportunity to look at it, like it really is really neat. The reason why I pulled it out is because I wanted to tell you that Bob Roop was on the military wrestling team. I need to see what the
Oh,
exact of it is. 113.
Yeah, he
But
was a sheep.
But he was on with another famous wrestler, and we actually got to meet that wrestler at Waterloo, Dave.
Mr. Dan Gable.
Nope, it was not Dan Gable. He was on, let me see if they have the name. Armed Forces Wrestling Team. I was trying to think of what the right word was. He was a member of the Armed Forces Wrestling Team, along with another heavyweight, a young serviceman named Jim Rasher.
Oh, Baron Baron
Yeah.
It
von
was.
Reschke.
It
Baron
was
Van
Baron
Reschke.
von Reschke.
Oh, and happy
So-
birthday to the Baron. The Baron is today's his birthday.
Yes, he's 84.
Man, this is just birthday show each week.
I know. So I thought that was kind of cool that that they have known each other for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But he was a member of the Army.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were there together in Waterloo, and they were in the Army together in the late 50s.
Yeah, he was older. Mr. Mr. Barrett. I don't
Yeah.
know what you would call him. He's older, but yeah,
But I mean, if Bob was born in, or they weren't
42.
if they weren't in it together, they were just both in it.
Bob's 80. Bob's 82.
Yeah.
No, you
Bob's
said 40.
82.
Yeah,
I said
Bob's
42.
82. So Rashke's 84.
4, yes.
They could have been there together, right?
Yeah, they were there together.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
was just saying that Rashke's older, so I don't
Well,
really
I
know.
was just saying that's crazy that they've known each other since their military days,
They
and
really
now they're
have.
still hanging out together for wrestling in Waterloo.
Yeah. Bob Roop was a member of the U.S. Olympic wrestling team that went to Mexico City. What year
Oh.
was that? Yeah, he was an actual member of the U.S. Olympic team.
So if it would
And-
have been 60, he would have been 18, and 64
But he was in the
would have been,
military.
yeah, 64 he would have been 22. I'm going 64.
I'm going 68. It would have been after he got out of the military.
All right.
72 was Munich.
Yeah.
I don't remember. So let's see what the answer is.
68.
I thought it was. I don't have. Oh, I have it in front of me. I don't know why I didn't. It was 1968. He actually was defeated by the Russian who ended up being the gold medal winner. I cannot even begin to start.
We don't even want to mention his name. He's from Russia. Screw him.
Ivan Dragoff.
No,
Yeah, Ivan
because
Dragoff. You will lose. That's what he told Bob Roop. You will lose.
Right. Well, darn it. I just told y'all the next question, but that's okay.
Sug on Ziznuz.
No, that's not that's not the question.
No, I mean, I was thinking that's what the Russian's name was.
That's what the Russian's name was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sug on these nuts.
So next question.
I think his name was Fuck Vladimir Putin. Is that a name?
Oh.
What's next?
Did Bob Roop win any medals? Yes or no at the Olympics?
Oh, I'm gonna say no.
Dave?
I'm gonna say that damn
I'm gonna
Russian.
say
did
yes. I'm gonna even guess it was bronze.
Unfortunately, he did not win any medals.
Oh.
He did wrestle. He did, like I said, whatever you called him. He did end up wrestling the eventual gold medal winner. That is who he lost to. But excuse me, he did not. Next question.
See, I was listening. I heard her tell me the answer in the last question.
I know. I forgot. I put that one in there. What wrestling territory did Bob start out in? Was he in Memphis, Georgia, New York, or Florida? Where did he start?
Because I was walking in Memphis. I'm going with Memphis.
I'm gonna go with Florida.
Dave, you are correct. It was Florida. Out with the Mr. Eddie Graham.
I just wanted to sing that song.
I know.
And
What year did Bob Roop go into the George Thragos Luthez Wrestling Hall of Fame? Was it 2005, 6, 7, or 8? Dave, I said, what year did Bob Roop go into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame?
I'm going to go 2000.
Luthez Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I'm going to go 2006.
I'll split the difference between him and Terry and say 2007.
It was 2006. Justin, do you know who else?
Of course I do, Amy.
Who else went into the Hall of Fame that year?
Oh, in 2006, that had to be B. Brian Blair.
Are you serious? You don't know?
I don't know.
Nature Boy Ric Flair?
It was Bret Hart.
Oh, frick.
I thought you were being
I'm gonna go hide in the hole now.
Bret Hart also went in 2006. And Dave, you were talking
I want to
about
hold this up to give you a look.
Yeah.
That's prime Bob Roop right there.
It is. He
I
was
should have known that because Dave tried to sell me, or not, tried to tell me I could bid on Brett's plaque, and it said 2006.
That's right. But he was a, like you said, Dave, he was a collegiate athlete. He was a, I can't remember how many years. It wasn't all four. I do remember that, but he was a collegiate athlete at Michigan State. He actually finished up at Southern Illinois University, SIU, which is not very far from me here in Carbondale or in
Oh, the
Carbondale.
Salukis.
The Salukis. So just like you said, it's kind of interesting how some of our great workers from the 40s and 50s were collegiate, were in the armed forces, did
Absolutely.
Olympics, that they, went to the Olympics in wrestling.
I mean, what's his name, Dave? You're stealing money, Bundy.
Ernie Ladd,
I mean, he played for the Chiefs, right?
the big cat, Ernie
The big
Ladd.
cat.
Yeah, well, even Vern Gagne and Stu Hart. I mean, all of them, have
Yeah,
it seems like they all kind of followed that, some kind of military service, which again, I think in the 40s,
They didn't have a
pretty-
choice.
well,
Like-
but honestly, I think a lot of people, I mean, you had movie stars going, like they
They
thought
had
that
to.
was they didn't have to.
They had to
thought-
do 4 years. They got drafted.
Well, but I'm just
Well,
saying,
yeah, back
you
then.
know that Cary Grant could have gotten out of it. I'm just saying Elvis could have
Ted
gotten
Williams.
out of it.
Ted Williams went twice.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, I think
Elvis went.
that's what I'm saying. They
Like, gotta
they
kick
felt
that
like
ass?
they had
Muhammad
they
Ali
felt-
did not.
No, he did
they
not.
felt an obligation to go. Is what I'm trying to say, is that they
Yeah.
felt an obligation. That was
Yeah, the
something-
obligation meant a letter in the mailbox that said, "Get your ass on a bus."
like I said, I
My-
do not believe that Clark,
My
Clark
granddad
Gable
Miller.
could not have gotten out of it if he really, really wanted to.
My granddad Miller was drafted into the Navy. And he tells everybody that he was not a draftee, he was a selectee. Now my uncle got drafted into the Army.
Mhm,
And as soon as he saw that he had a draft notice, he
mhm.
ran down and enlisted in the Air Force. So when they
Really?
came looking for him for not showing up at the Army, he was already in the Air Force.
My dad would say, as a Air Force veteran, he made a wise choice.
Yeah, he said he slept on clean sheets every night.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
My great grandfather was in the Air Force in World War II too.
mhm.
I'm telling you, my uncle tells he was in Vietnam and he talks about working on what he calls spooky gun shift.
Really?
And they called it Puff the Magic Dragon because every so many bullets had phosphorus like a tracer bullet.
Mhm.
So the gunship, when it was firing, it looked like it was breathing fire.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we have to remember some of our RAM network folks, TJ,
Timmy
Tim,
C.
and Dave are all veterans too. Tim was in TJ was the Air Force, I believe, and Tim and Dave are Army. I don't know
Yeah.
about anybody else. I don't think so.
I think that's
Just
it.
thinking our group. I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I had a
But-
do-over. I tested for the Marines,
Uh-huh.
and before I signed, I had a buddy come back that had graduated a year before me, and he came home for a visit, and he was so different. Like he had changed so much. It
For the
scared
good?
No, I couldn't tell, but it scared the hell out of me from how he was to how he
So
was
it's good.
Mhm.
after being in the Marines for a year. And
Really?
then I started. Then I think I want to say I tested for the Army and the Air Force as well.
What do you mean you tested?
You
Like,
had
I
to
don't
take
know
a
what-
test. They
Oh,
give you a
okay.
test.
Like
Like
the
my son,
ASVAB? Like that? Like
kind
that
of.
test they
It's
make you
It's,
take?
yeah,
and-
Well,
it's
here's
just like
the deal
a
is-
general military test, right? Just
well,
Okay.
my son Michael
Mhm.
tested for all of them, and he
Mhm.
picked the Army. And he didn't ask any of us what we thought. He just did it.
Right.
I'm out of here. And he joined the Army. And I asked him, I said, son, why'd you join the Army? Because in my mind, you had the Air Force that slept on clean sheets every night. I had cousins that had been very successful in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And
National Guard, you don't have to go too far.
well, and also in my mind, the Navy's giving them boys ride to the fight, so he'd be safe on a ship. But I asked him, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not disparaging any of the branches. Don't get me wrong. I'm telling you,
right.
I'm not saying they don't work hard. And if I had it all to do over today, knowing what I know, I'd go in the Navy, because seeing what it did for my cousin Josh, what it did for my cousin Jason, what it's done for my cousin Debbie. I mean, she was a lifer. Jason made a career out of it. He got as high in the Navy as he could get without being an officer. Got 2 promotions before he ever got out of boot camp.
I can't tell you as a teacher and a former coach how much I've seen the military help kids that really need it. I'll tell you, we had a kid that we coached in basketball that his mom was, a drug addict. His dad was in prison. He was trying to run the household. He had a little brother. And when he got to us as a freshman, he was an asshole. And our coach is he's not a military guy, but he runs his basketball team in kind of that fashion. And that was the thing that he needed. He needed that structure from our coach, and he got it, and he flourished under us. He was never a great player. He was kind of our goon, someone you go in there to get rough with someone. He couldn't throw it in the ocean, the basketball, but he could go out there and rough somebody up or whatever. But he absolutely was just the most devoted kid. Then he went to the military right out of that, and he got married. He's having a kid. He bought a new house, and that helps so many kids like that need it. And it really is my biggest regret in life that I did not go to the military right out of high school, so I could have got free college. And I almost went in 2005. I was failing in college, and I was like, well, it's military or, working at McDonald's. And I came to a decision that I really didn't want to go fight in a war in Iraq that I really didn't believe in. And in fact, I had protested against George Bush in 2004 at my college when he made a speech there because of the Iraq war. So I didn't really want to go fight in that war because I didn't think we should be there. And so I decided to get my shit together and finish college and graduate. But now looking back at it, I wish I would have did it. Now I'm too old.
It's a regret of mine that I didn't do it. But I also let my dad talk me out of it because of our store. But I enjoyed the show tonight.
Yeah, we've kind of done a little bit of everything.
Those of y'all that followed us over here to YouTube, we sure do appreciate it. Didn't want to go on. I wanted to try. We're trying to get everybody over here to YouTube. We want to click that subscribe button. You'll see when we go live.
You'll get a little notification come across your phone. It came across mine as we started the show.
I owe y'all whatever Angel Camacho spelled. I think double-handed chop. I can't remember. We'll figure out.
Yeah,
we're like Angel 3 or 4 in.
Angel Camacho is going to hit him in the head with one of those long light bulb things that they.
No, I don't do light bulbs.
Justin's going to eat mayonnaise.
What I'm saying is, we're really trying to get this YouTube thing going. Twitter has made it harder. I mean, we were broadcasting on Twitter on 3 channels, and only one of them pays. So that's the only channel that we're going to let us. And I understand the business model. I'm not mad at them about it.
What's our next number we need to hit? 600, 700? What is it?
We're at 6.
So 700. Now,
700.
This is no lie, y'all. I have never done this in my life.
Oh, yeah.
But I will eat a spoonful of mayonnaise on this show. You may see me puke live on this show.
Yes.
So 700?
If we get to 700, I promise y'all I will do it.
All right.
Can you clip that so we can send
and
that
I'm gonna have to put stuff over my computer so I don't ruin my MacBook here.
All right.
I'm going to put plastic over it.
Get ready for it, Lord.
It's gonna.
Yeah.
My room's gonna look like a Gallagher show. Back in the day.
He's
Oh
gonna
goodness.
puke. That's
He's
true.
got a yeah.
Anyway, we don't have a guest lined up for next week because we're coming off SummerSlam, and we're gonna have a good time next week. We're gonna talk about SummerSlam. We'll see the results. We'll see where it's going. Talk about the surprise if any surprises happen after SummerSlam. We're on our march towards the Royal Rumble.
I think
I mean, they still got Survivor Series, but
No one cares about Survivor Series. It died in 1997.
I mean, I heard Conrad talking to Bruce today, and he just
ruined it.
He called WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the Royal Rumble the tentpole events for WWE.
They
And
are.
Bruce didn't correct him. So
No. And you know what? You would probably say Money in the Bank is after that in front of Survivor Series, right?
I've hated Survivor Series forever.
Since,
It's never
since
been.
They stopped doing it with teams of 5.
I didn't like it then. It's always been my least favorite. It was always my least favorite pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was fun for me, Amy. I will say this. In 1991, when I was 6, and I got to see, the Ultimate Warrior and the Bushwhackers and Jim the Anvil Neidhart be on the same team, I thought that was fun as hell. Now, or even I would say even in 90, I'd say that thing was dead in 94, 5. I think the Hart Foundation thing and the Jerry Lawler thing and that whole mess was so bad that really killed Survivor Series. 1994 Survivor Series is what killed it.
And I do think because of Raw and some different things that came out, you never saw those people tag with each other and, coming together to fight the enemy or whatever. I love, like you said, though, I'm pretty sure it's the 80s, late 80s, early 90s that I really enjoyed. But once you start being able to see it every week, it didn't, I totally understand, as much as I hate it, how it kind of gets pushed down.
The Royal Rumble's never lost its shine with me.
Well, I'm talking about, excuse me. Oh, goodness. Sorry about that.
I'm going to try not to yawn now.
I'm talking out of my ass. The Survivor Series is War Games, and it was good last year.
Oh, that's right.
Since they pivoted to War Games, it is improved. So,
but
I'm glad they recognized they had a problem. I don't think it was too hard to figure out. I'm glad they tried to put something on it.
And working towards War Games, I mean, your next road, the road to WrestleMania kicks off at the Royal Rumble. That's what we're marching to. War Games. I mean, depending on who's in the cage, is how the stories are set.
Really, once SummerSlam is over, you're on the road to WrestleMania, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing about that with War Games, it's going to end up being like Hell in a Cell. Like, oh, it's October, we need to have a Hell in a Cell match, and it's not as good because they, that's even just like when they did Survivor Series, and then all of a sudden the Raw people were against SmackDown, and so everybody was supposed to be, proving who was the better. It's just really,
they could have had a great Survivor Series if they could have done WCW versus WWE back in 2002.
You got to be excited for War Games this year because it's going to be.
They did it a little bit.
Oh, definitely. As long as they're not like manufacturing a War Games type, match in, September 30th, if the match is in October 3rd, that's the only thing I feel confident with maybe Triple H. I mean, so far it seems like, it makes sense.
I think it would be awesome. Darren Staley said earlier that NBC thought about doing an AI Al Michaels for the Olympics, which I don't know why you couldn't get the real Al Michaels, but he's still alive, but whatever. It would be awesome if they could get AI Dusty to commentate on the War Games. It's the War Games, baby. Here we are, that would be friggin' awesome.
Next week, can we talk
about the opening? AI Dusty does the opening.
We were talking about them earlier.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, well. I'll have more to talk about next week.
What was it? What we talking about?
I just said next week we can talk about the Olympics too. He said y'all were.
Oh
kinda
yeah. Well,
touching
we
base
kind of talked
that.
about it. I watched 25 seconds of a soccer game. That's all I've seen. I've seen the opening. I did watch all the countries coming down the boats at the beginning down the Seine River.
Oh, cool. I have not seen any of that, but I like the gymnastics, the track and field. Those are always fun.
You
And
watch the track and field?
oh man, you talk about you want to watch somebody like you see people running 200 meters flying. Like it is unreal
I
how
understand
fast.
it. I
You
just
wanna
don't
hear
know if I
something?
can watch it.
I'm gonna call
I-
out. I'm
yeah.
calling out NBC though the way they're shooting the Olympics.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
No, they're shooting asses. They're shooting asses and
Oh.
cracks.
Oh.
I mean,
And dicks?
Nope,
I
just
hadn't
asses.
noticed.
Oh.
No, they're shooting them girls. They're sneaking them camera angles and like how we criticized that.
So you have a problem with that, Dave?
I honestly do. I don't
I
think
was
it's
gonna say,
even in wrestling. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's cool when the camera shoots some girls between their legs.
he's
Right.
officially a
we're trying
grandpa.
to. Yeah. Well, we're trying.
mean,
to
there's
say
a picture.
these are athletes. And
There's a picture. Now,
that's
I
the
don't know
best
why
we
this
can
girl
do.
wouldn't have worn no drawers under them little shorts. But I mean, she's been over. She's
Mhm.
been over, and I mean, I almost. It's just it's the pawpaw. It's the pawpaw in me. It's the daddy in me.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, 30 years ago, I'd probably thought it was cool. But I mean, in this day and
15
age,
years ago,
they're
you would have
getting
thought it
little.
was cool.
Yeah,
We
I'm
don't
just
need
saying.
that sex. Make
It ain't cool to shoot them
objectify
girls that way, and you
everybody.
can't tell me that that's an accident.
No.
On
And
some of these.
just real quick, did you all see where Flavor Flav is a sponsor of the
Yeah,
water
I
polo
saw. Well,
team?
the video I saw was him meeting the first lady backstage, Jill Biden, and he was giving her all these hugs, and it was real sweet.
Hey,
But
we
yeah,
have
I
somebody.
did see him there.
I think that is awesome that he has stepped up to do that because just like you said, we have Olympic athletes that are to live their dream and get the opportunity to go to the Olympics in your
And
sport.
you got
And
him and Snoop there.
well, but you're having to, work a weekend job, like
Yeah, and some of them have
I
multiple jobs. I think that's great that Flav
yes,
stepped up like that.
Yeah,
I do
Gerald,
too.
I hope
Oh, I'm
I say
sorry.
his last name correctly. Gerald
Millette.
Millette. He was the
Yep.
referee for the first match of Kurt Angle's professional career against Dr. Tom Pritchard in Salem,
Wow.
Massachusetts at Salem State College.
I
Thank
knew
you for
I knew
joining us
about that
tonight.
match, but I didn't know who the referee was.
Awesome.
You're not supposed to. We're not.
Yeah. That's what I always say. When
Kurt
I get
Angle
done
and
refereeing a
Dr.
basketball
Tom
game,
Pritchard?
is I hope no one knew I was there.
The
I
next
just wanted
night
to
it was against
throw
Jeff
that out.
Jarrett in New Hampshire. That is so cool. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes.
And
I just
let
want
the-
to throw that out about favor, because again, I think that's awesome because I think sometimes we have that, I do anyway, like you think Olympians, well, they must be rolling in
No,
the dough and they, and
Hmm.
maybe
they got to have
gymnasts or
sponsors because
maybe, like you said, the bigger names of things, like I
You
said, they
know,
will get Nike and some of those
yeah,
sponsors.
they need to, because when they win a medal, they come home with a tax bill for winning a medal.
yeah.
Mhm.
Amy, you know what's cool?
Yes. What?
That ain't
In
even right.
on our show and in our chat, we have the person who refereed Kurt Angle's first match and Ric Flair's last. How about that?
Oh, that is cool. I like that bookend. Awesome. Please join us again, mister.
Well, and then he refereed for Jeff Jarrett the second night.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
It sounded like
Jeff
he was
Jarrett-
refereeing for a lot of them, but
Is that when Jeff Jarrett got blew up and you told him about it?
hey now, hey now, hey now.
We kid. We
I'm working with Jeff. I'm working with Jeff Jarrett Thursday night.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, are we ready to go home? Have we said it all and said enough?
I think we have.
I think so too. It's been a great night.
All
Thank
right.
you all for joining us.
Amy, I mean, Amy was here for it. She had her good hair on, her out. I mean, we got hot Amy tonight on the show.
You
So
got professional Amy.
y'all better
open the
be
door.
appreciative. That's right. So right off of her birthday, she's feeling good. She's feeling like she's a hot 48 right now.
That's right. Mwah, love you for that.
I respect that she doesn't lie about it and say she's 29 again.
I think I look pretty good for 48.
You're all right.
Well, I was going
On water.
to. Hey, pucker up, Dave.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Tuck her up, ass.
I'd like to invite Mr. Gerald to come on with us sometime.
So,
Yeah, we need to talk about that. We'll do a deep dive into that.
is it Gerard?
Gerard Millet. He's French.
Gerard Millet.
Will you come on our show, Mr. Gerard?
That's a Louisiana name, I think.
I'd love
Just
to hear
let
all
us
about it.
know.
I'd love to hear
Me
about his
too.
WWE career.
I bet he's got some good stories.
Well,
we were talking about territory system. They were, and those referees traveled.
Heck yeah. And some of them, whatever you need, yay. Next week, come on with us. And some of them, like Tim White and stuff, they got to, they were driving the wrestlers around.
Awesome.
So,
I'll reach out to you. I'll reach out to you about that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is so fun.
Well, here we are booking guests and everything else here at the end of the show.
This has been one for the ages for us. We're doing it. We're busy tonight.
Yeah, we want to thank Matt Classic for coming on. That was really cool to kind of listen to him talk about what it is to be a independent boss, and he told us all about that tonight. So
I think we all need to plan some wrestling watching in North Carolina. It just seems like that is
North
a good
Carolina. Put your hands up.
Well, the gathering is this week, and shout out to all of our friends that'll be there at the gathering.
Jay-Z, will he be there?
I don't think he's going, but Rusty Miller's going.
I gotta figure Mike Hoop might show up.
It's possible, but I know
that
it's a heavily world-class influence show this year. Kevin's going to be there. Iceman's going to be there. Brian Adias is going to be there.
Are you not going?
I can't.
Are you going?
I can't. I got to work.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I went
to Waterloo, Iowa instead.
Yeah.
Well worth it. Well worth it, I will say.
All right,
some people don't have unlimited vacations over there.
Yeah, who you think I am, Dave in the HSV?
Yeah, really. I got confused. You're right. I just saw Dave, and I just assumed.
All right, so we want to thank Matt.
I'm Dave in the Frito truck.
Dave in the Frito truck. We want to thank Matt Classic for joining us, and we don't really have a guest next week, so it could be a mystery show next week. Just show up.
We have Mr. Gerard is going to come.
I just told y'all what we were doing next week.
What'd you say?
We're talking about SummerSlam.
Oh, that's right.
And the Olympics, and Mr. Gerard's coming on.
All right.
We just booked a whole
show. We'll talk about
show.
SummerSlam next week.
All right.
Yes, we
got All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. All you guys in the chat. We really appreciate it, as we do each and every week. And for Pondwater Dave, and for it's still her birthday. It's only been a week. For the birthday girl, Miss Amy Vaughn. My name is Justin Davis saying please take care of yourself and each other. So long, everyone.